All right, so something very interesting happened this morning. Uniswap, the biggest decentralized exchange, and I think also with little bits of time there, the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in terms of volume. Yeah, so they dropped their UNI token. Now what the UNI token is basically is that is the ownership token of Uniswap, or the governance token. And that's the thing that can basically be used to direct the project. And they were very generous. They gave every account that has ever interacted with Uniswap in any way 400, including failed transactions. Yeah, they even gave us failed transaction people 400 UNI. And you might have gone, well, you know, so what? 400, that doesn't sound like too much. They probably have 1 billion tokens. Yes, they do have 1 billion tokens, but what's that worth? Turns out it's worth quite a bit. It's worth about $1,000 to $1,200 at the moment. As I am speaking, it is now just about 10 past 9 UTC time. So I'm going to make this video to help the community in general and the Fry community specifically to gear up and get out of this Uniswap token. All right, so my approach is going to be that I am going to do 3 things with the UNI tokens in the 2 accounts that I have, or that I control rather. One is not my account. But basically that's 800 UNI tokens, and the way that you know, I'm going to play that, and you don't have to do this at all. This is just what I'm going to do. You know, like, you know, make your own decisions, do your own research, all that stuff. But essentially, if this was just some other token, right? So if this was just some random project that gave me a bunch of tokens and I saw momentarily they were worth a lot, I would just dump them. Right, I would just completely dump them. I wouldn't think twice about it. Yeah, but Uniswap is, like I said earlier, an enormous player. They've innovated quite a lot. They essentially like broke open the whole automated market making industry on Ethereum. Yeah, they've innovated quite a bit in terms of giving us things like reliable Oracle prices on Uniswap. All kinds of great stuff like that, you know, and I have no doubt that the team will come up with even better things in the future, right? I really think they're going to do amazing things. Now, I wasn't quite able to get the numbers on this correct, but currently, yeah, so this number is correct. Currently, I'm looking in the background here at the chart. Currently, we have a price of about $3 per uni. That might not hold in the short term. So, you know, you probably, I don't know, if you probably dump now, you might be able to buy back later, but that's timing markets has never been something I'm good at. So here's the play that I'm going to do. I'm going to split my, I'm going to split these UNI tokens that we now have into 3 batches, right? The first batch, I'm going to sell. I'm going to take that money off the table. Right, and then that's guaranteed free cash. Thank you very much, Ethereum community. I really appreciate that you guys have built such an awesome thing, that we have built such an awesome thing, you know, that literally like hands out money. The second thing that I'm going to do is a part of it I'm going to keep. I think Uniswap's pretty good protocol. Well, it's a pretty good project, pretty good protocol, very, very capable team. So the thing is, I think at the moment it's worth about, I mean, the full lifetime dilution, which is 1 billion Uniswap tokens, 1 billion uni would be worth $3 billion right now. And I mean, if you look at coin market cap, that's entirely reasonable for literally the project that has, well, for the dApp that has the single biggest gas fees paid to it. And that's not going into the amount of liquidity locked into it, the amount of fees for trading, the volume of trading, anything to that effect. 3 billion is I think, actually very reasonable for where this thing could be right now. So part of it I'm going to keep because I think they're going to go well above that amount, right? I don't know how it's going to play out in the meantime. Their liquidity mining program starts on the 18th of September, yeah, at 12 a.m. UTC. So that is basically tonight at midnight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and they will be providing that for 4 pairs, which is ETH USD, ETH USDC, ETH DAI, and ETH wrapped Bitcoin. If you provide any liquidity for any of those pairs, then they'll be dropping you some UNI as well. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I think this project is going to be worth considerably more than $3 billion. You know, if you sit on it for a while and you wait. But in the moment, for the time being, we have this primordial soup where they've basically dropped us a bunch of tokens. People have been selling them, people have been buying them, people have been buying them back and selling them back, and it's just been crazy. So, so essentially, I'm going to take some money off the table. I'm going to leave some money on the table. And then what I'm going to do with the middle third of my uni gifting is I am going to provide that as liquidity. So I am going to try and make some fees off of all the people taking money off and putting the, leaving the money back on and putting it back on, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those are going to be the three things that, that I'm going to do with my uni tokens. All right, so let's jump into it. All right, so okay, first things first. Here we basically have the introducing uni token. I'm not going to go into the details of this. You guys are welcome to go read it. It's over there at uniswap.org/blog/uni. They just essentially go into what they've accomplished. They've seen over $20 billion in volume. They've seen well over $1 billion in liquidity, especially during the sushi swap debacle. And they essentially like have formed the bedrock of lots of the DeFi space. In that the fees that they generate for liquidity providers are basically what a lot of the rest of the DeFi is built upon. In any event, if we go down here to the distributions, basically, we can see the distributions now. They have some early investors and they have a team, and then obviously they have the community and they have some advisors that they are going to give their tokens to. If you go look at the 10-year inflation rate here, basically the vast majority of that will end up in the community, and in other places they also say how their vesting schedule works for the team and for the investors. So I don't think that's too badly structured. We can go down here as well. We can see that, pretty much here after about year 4, there's going to be on the order of about 1 billion uni. Right now, it only has 150 million, which actually means that $3 is likely quite underpriced, given the fact that this is a project with actual cash flow. I mean, this is crazy for the blockchain space. I mean, we spent years just going about how, neither Bitcoin nor Ethereum for quite a while, they were really paying for themselves. And now the fees actually more than cover the block rewards. And the majority of that for Ethereum is Uniswap. So I definitely think it's not a bad idea to leave some of this on the table. Okay, and anyway, then they have a whole thing here about how their liquidity mining program will work. So, they're going to give you some more uni if you provide ETH USD, ETH USDC, ETH DAI, or ETH WBTC. All right. Okay. So if you want to claim this stuff, basically, all you have to do is head on over to app.uniswap.org. And then you will see in the top right-hand corner here, there is a little drop-down box that says Claim Uni. Now, you won't see this if your MetaMask has not been unlocked. This MetaMask account that you can see here has been unlocked. Right, okay. So it's very simple to claim this stuff. You literally just click the little Claim Your Uni Tokens button there. However, I need to make you aware of this. So at the moment, obviously, lots of people are taking money off the table and putting money on the table and providing liquidity and revoking liquidity and all kinds of crazy stuff's going on. So the gas fees now, thanks to Uni, have again spiked to high heavens. Earlier today, when I did this, I think I had to do it at something like 500 gigawatt gas, which I think is pretty crazy. But Logan actually told me that he did a transaction for 700 gas. I think that's the highest level, the highest gigawatt transaction I've heard of in the wild from somebody I know directly. Okay, so yeah, so that's currently the gas situation. So the first thing is if we claim these tokens, there's going to be some gas associated to it, right? And if we want to sell some of these tokens before, next time this week, then we're probably going to have to pay a fee that's quite similar to that. Now, this is such a big drop. I mean, it's like $1,000 and something that this actually does make quite a bit of sense for us to pay these gas fees. All right, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to claim these UNI tokens of mine. Well, not exactly of mine. All right, and here we see that that's going to be about $16 at the current gas price, but I don't trust that their gas price, so I am going to up that to 600 because I want to get this video done this week. All right, exciting times. We are claiming our 400 UNI. Okay, and there you can see that we have claimed. We're rich. We're rich. Ah! Okay, let's see how much that stuff is worth. Okay, so I'm here on the app.uniswap.org interface, and what I can do now basically is I can sell this UNI and basically take some money off of the table. Okay, it looks like it is not yet actually in Uniswap's own token list. So let's just actually go to uniswap.info. Let's have a look if this is in here. Okay, so Uniswap is not quite in there yet. Let's look it up in this interface. This typically looks stuff up, or at least find stuff. All right, so here we actually do have UNI. So here we have the UNI-ETH pair, essentially. Okay, so what we can do here is we can click on trade. And that's going to automatically open that up with all the Uniswap warnings. Yeah, I understand. It's not like fully listed yet. So if we max that out, we see we can get a whole 3 Ether out. I think that's pretty damn amazeballs. All right, so I am not going to sell all of this, obviously, because like I said, I think a third of this needs to remain on the table, but just for the sake of demoing it, I am going to pull out a little bit of UNI. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is approve the UNI, which you know, is really terrible user experience on Ethereum side. But I mean, it are what it are. What are we going to do about that? Okay, so let me confirm that bad boy. Okay, so I made a mistake there, and if you make a similar mistake, then you will have to fix it the way I'm going to have to fix it now. So pay some heed. All right, so here you basically see that we're approving this. Okay, let's just go explore this on Etherscan quickly. All right, so on Etherscan, it now tells us that despite the fact that we paid 500 gig away, it's going to cost us $9.51, and it's still going to take more than 3 hours. Right, I think that is bonkers, ludicrous, insane, and I don't want to wait that long. Right, so what we are going to do is we're going to speed this bad boy up. All right, so let's speed this dude up. All right, now you could, you know, click here on fast, but you will notice problems because, like, for one thing, we're paying $9.51, and why is this only $7.70? That's because that faster thing doesn't necessarily make things all that much faster. All right, so I'm just going to provide 600 gig away. So I clicked there on advanced, went to gas, made it 600, and I'm going to save this, right? So this should actually now submit much faster. All right, cool. Well, that's an estimate I can live with, between 6 and 11 minutes. I should get some elevator music for these videos. Whoop, whoop. Okay, that was quick. All right, so now our stuff has been, if we go back here, all right, there we go. All right, so if we go back here, we can actually yeah, so we can swap some of our UNI out now. I sold for 2.647 Ether. All right, so just for easy calculation, I am going to, for the sake of this video and for the sake of the Fry community, I'm going to take a bullet for the team and I'm going to swap only 40 UNI for 0.31 Ether, which is probably going to be quite a serious upside. Hold on, what has happened here? This is interesting. Okay, so by the way, if you see that kind of weirdness happening, that is actually the Uniswap. That is actually the Uniswap interface that's routing from the token you have to the token you want. And what it's doing is it is essentially finding us the optimum route from the amount of UNI that I want to swap to what I want. Just got to confirm if that is indeed the optimum route. Okay, cool. I see it swapped back already. So that might have been a temporary advantage that I had routing through that set of pools. So I'm going to let's quickly refresh this, just make sure that that's still correct. Okay, I'm hitting swap. Going to confirm. That's new. Okay, well, I'm glad that this is a real world video with absolutely no time to prepare for it, which is exactly the experience you'll have in the real world. So let's quickly see what's going on here. Let's swap that bad boy again, confirm swap. You know, Ethereum is busy when the thing that tells you how busy it is too busy telling people how busy it is and it falls over. Okay, so I am going to edit this gas fee because I do not trust that they're gas. All right, I'm going to make that 600. All right, so we're going to suffer a little bit of a loss here on that amount of ether, but it's for the greater good. Obviously, you know, you should not in the wild do uneconomical transactions like this one. This is for educational purposes. Okay, and there you can see that we now have slightly more ether out. What? Actually, correction. What has occurred here? Oh, bugger balls. Let's go have a look. One of these transactions failed. Okay, ouch. That's a $7 transaction that just failed. That's 600 gigaways. All right, and there was an insufficient output amount. So the reason there is basically that is Uniswap looking out for us, telling us that, you know, yeah, we weren't getting them out as much money as we thought we would get out. It's probably due to the fact that the network is so freaking incredibly volatile right now. Okay, cool. And there we have success. We have swapped 40 uni. I hope we've swapped 40 uni for some ether. Let's have a quick look here. Okay, excellent. So we now have some extra ether, and we have, yeah, 360 uni. Okay, cool. So now for the second phase that I want to show you guys. All right, so that first phase was I now took money off of the table. Right, so I've already sold from the other account, I've already sold 400 uni there, and I've sold 40 from this account for demonstration purposes. Now, the next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this uni that I still have left and some of the ether that I sold it for, and I'm going to provide liquidity to this pair. You might ask yourself, Skulk, why in the good heavens would you want to provide liquidity? It's terrible. You suffer impermanent losses. Can't you read and do math and yada, 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 yada. To lots of that I say, I can, but I don't often read and do math. However, seriously though, the thing is, if you look at the screen, we have the total liquidity and then we have the volume, right? So let me quickly pull up ye old calculator here. Right, so Uniswap charges a 0.03. Let me just put this here in scientific mode. All right, so Uniswap charges 0.000. That's how this computer is set up. 3% trade fee, and if we multiply that by the volume, we get how much in fees we would have generated. We've been preparing this. Okay, so there was about 310,000 just since this morning when Uni launched in volume that has occurred on Uniswap, right? Now that's against only about 6 or 7 million dollars worth of liquidity. So that's pretty extreme. I mean, in one day, that's almost like a 5% return on investment. You know, and you can go calculate how much that would be sort of like going forward. And I think once their liquidity program actually kicks off, this is going to be a pretty volatile pool to run. All right. So if you don't know what impermanent losses are, I recommend you go look at the channel Finematics, which is a freaking incredible channel. It explains all these DeFi things and so forth. So impermanent losses is just the concept that if you own two tokens, like in this case, you own Ether and Uniswap, and you just hold them versus you provide them as liquidity, you typically are better off if you just hold them. However, every time somebody trades over this pool, you make a small fee, which is incredibly hard to really model, right? So you make that 0.3% fee every time somebody moves over your pool. And you get that proportional to the amount of liquidity that you are providing. Yeah, so the idea is that the fees are supposed to compensate for the impermanent losses. So in other words, the advantage you would have had by just keeping both tokens is eroded away by the automatic market maker math, but that is compensated for by the fees, right? So these are incredibly high volumes, basically, right? So I'm going to provide some liquidity to this market until it is no longer, you know, prudent to do so. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to provide some liquidity because I now have some Ether. Thank you very much, Uniswap. And I have some Uni. Thank you very much, Uniswap. And I want to now make some money off of providing liquidity to the people who are buying and selling Uni at the moment on Uniswap. Okay, so if we go look at this chart of theirs, if we look at, okay, so this is a very cool tool, by the way, chartex.pro. If you look at the link at the top there, we'll include that in the show notes. If you look at the link at the top there, that basically tells you that you can look up the Uni price on the Uniswap market. And what we're really interested in here is not the price so much, but we're interested in this high volumes at the bottom here, right? So we're getting very, very decent volume amounts coming through, and that will probably not continue at quite this crazy level, but it might continue at a relatively high level for a while, especially once their yield farming program kicks off tonight. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to click on, I want to click on add liquidity. All right, and now I can essentially add liquidity, right? So what I said was I'm going to split my strategy into 3 parts, which is, you know, keep a third on the table, take a third off the table, and provide a third as liquidity. So all in all, you know, this is just under 6 Ether. So I'm going to provide 1 Ether. And the other, so 1 Ether is half of the liquidity I'm providing, and the other 133 is then the Uniswap tokens. All right, so I'm going to supply that. Yeah, I'm going to say confirm supply. Something is funk balls. Hold on, let me close that down. All right, let's try that again. I'm just going to refresh this. Okay, so the total amount of Ether that I would have gotten if I sold all of this Uni is about 6 Ether. So like I said, 2 Ethers coming off the table, you know, 2 Ethers worth of Uni is staying on the table, and the rest, you know, I'm going to provide in liquidity. All right, and when you provide liquidity, you have to provide on Uniswap both sides of the trade of the pair. So we've got to put about 136. This is going to fluctuate quite a bit during this demo, but 136 or something Uni down and 1 Ether down. We're going to supply that. Here it tells us how many pool tokens we're going to have. We're going to confirm that. Okay, so something is broken. Something is broken, messed up. I think we should actually just leave this in the video because this is going to be your experience as well, is stuff is not going to work as planned. Okay, one last time for the record books. Let's try this again. All right, so what I'm doing now is I've taken a third off, which is about 2 ether. I'm leaving a third on, which is about 2 ether. So I want to provide around 2 ethers worth of liquidity. When you provide liquidity, you've got to provide half of it in the one side of the pair and the other half in the other side of the pair, right? So half of it now goes, that's going to be about 142 uni, and half of it's going to be about 1 ether. All right, so this thing has been fluctuating up and down. We'll probably cut out all my expletives at the screen here. All right, but we are now going to try and provide that amount of liquidity. So we're going to say, okay, we get about 7 liquidity tokens out. Finally, it's asking us if we want to confirm this. We say yes, confirm it. All right, now you can go view it on Uniswap. But you probably might have made the same mistake that I just made, which means you can go fix it. If you go there and you go look at your estimated time, it's going to be more than 1 day. So by that time, that thing would have definitely failed. So what we're going to do is we're going to speed the shit out of this thing up. This is likely going to fail now. All right, this failed again because of insufficient amount. Okay, so the reason that that failed is because the price is fluctuating so freaking violently that you can't actually provide the liquidity accurately and timelessly. All right, so we're going to try this again, but this time I'm not going to make the mistake of providing insufficient gas. Something that can really be fixed about this user experience, though, is a bunch of things, actually. Let's see if this now happens. Okay, so hopefully this actually confirms in time for that to still be valid. Yes, and it confirmed in time. Oh, happy day. Let's have a look. All right, so now you can see on my screen here that I own a grand total of 0.01% of the entire Uniswap Ether liquidity pool out there. All right, and those are the values that I actually have. Got about 136 point something uni in there, and I've got about just under 1 ether in my 6.91 Uniswap Ether liquidity tokens there. That's the distribution. Okay, so now what I'm hoping for is that these volumes will continue over the next couple of days whilst their liquidity mining project runs. Yeah, and that I will make a decent profit in that regard. So now basically I have some free cash, I have the potential to make money off of other people gambling, and I have long-term exposure to the very good project that is Uniswap. Yeah, thank you for joining me in this real world DeFi adventure. I hope it's helpful, guys.